Hi, I wanted to make a video about VA loans and answer some of the questions that people have. So this is VA loans explained. So what is a VA loan? A VA loan is a benefit by the VA for members and former members of the U.S. Armed Services that have served 2 or more years, and there are some exceptions that I'll cover later, typically, and were honorably discharged. The VA doesn't make loans, they only insure them. So we as a direct VA lender, we're called a VA automatic lender, and we underwrite, draw the loan documents, and fund VA loans, and then we send them to the VA after they're funded and you already moved into your house for insuring by the VA guarantee. So that's the way that works. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did mention that the 2-year active duty period can be shorter in time of war. If you've served in time of war, it can be as little as 6 months. And also in California, we have something called CalVet. CalVet only requires that you have served for 6 months as well. Let's see. So what are the benefits of a VA loan? One of the biggest VA benefits is zero down payment. Low federally subsidized rates. Low federally subsidized rates. So the rates are much lower than conventional and other loans. High debt ratios can be allowed with compensating factors. So typical VA loans, 45% debt ratios. That's the amount of total debt to the amount of your total income expressed as a percentage. So 45% ratios are typical with compensating factors. Debt ratios up to 55%, even 60% are allowed. So if you have less than perfect credit, that in many cases is not a problem, and VA will allow credit scores down to 600. So that's pretty liberal. There are no reserves required on a VA loan, so you can move in with very little money. Of course, that's completely up to the buyer. The income that's allowed for a VA buyer, if you're out of the service and you are getting a paycheck, a W-2 paycheck, we're going to use your gross income. If your gross income is before any deductions. If you're active duty, we are going to allow your housing allowance and your rations allowance added on top of your income from the service. Also, your housing allowance and rations allowances are not they're not taxable. So it's up to the underwriter. It's what they call underwriter discretion, but we can typically gross those up is what we call it. So we take that amount, let's just say a $2,000 housing allowance, and we gross that up by 25%. So now that housing allowance the income that can be used is 25% higher. Closing costs, touch on that for a minute. Closing costs will be about 2 to 2.5% of the purchase price typically. But the cost can be paid by you, the buyer, or the cost can be paid by the seller. It can be paid by the lender, us, or it can be paid by a gift, by any family member, by blood or marriage. Okay? Credit. The credit standards for VA are not incredibly strict. So there's a lot of latitude there. Generally, they're looking for not excessive late payments in the last 12 months. And then there are waiting periods for short sales, foreclosures if you've had those, judgments, collections. So those are all individual cases that we would need to look at your individual situation. But essentially, bankruptcies can be as little as 1 year, short sales as little as 2 years. So with shorter time periods for extenuating circumstances and special cases. So it's just always to check based on your individual situation. So please contact me for that. So income and debt ratios, I already covered that. And what else? So that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but that's a pretty good overview. The best thing for you to do if you want to get a VA loan, find out more about it, is just apply. There's no cost or obligation to apply for a loan with Mike West at American Pacific Mortgage, and we can evaluate your credit and income in about 12 to 24 hours, and you could be pre-approved in that short a period of time. So again, there's no cost or obligation for that service, and then with a pre-approval, now you've got the strength of a cash buyer that you can go out with a realtor if you have one now, or if you need us to recommend one to you, then you can go out with confidence and not, go out and find the home of your dreams and find out that you can't buy it. That'd be very disappointing. So call me, Mike West, 760-208-1739. Thank you very much for watching.